channel. Today we're going to be talking about the coronavirus, and no worries, no politics, no debates about whether stay-at-home orders should be in place or not. This is going to be an opportunity to do something a little different, and we're going to talk about finding the good in this crazy world that we're living in this crazy crisis that we are going through as a country, as the world altogether. And I'm hoping to share some of the things that we have found that are good and bless and encourage you to also do the same. So let's get started. So first of all, I have to thank Becky from Russell Living Life and Leilani from Living with Eve for tagging me in this video challenge. I'll be honest, I have not had the best attitude at all times about this whole situation. I'm an extrovert and I'm stuck inside, guys. This is so hard. I didn't realize how much I left the house until I couldn't leave the house. And we have to be really strict with our regulations in particular because one of my daughters has special needs, and because of some medications that she is on, it just shoots her immune system. So she is very high risk, and so we have to take it very seriously. And I'm more than happy to do what we need to do to protect her and to protect others around us, but it doesn't make it that much easier. So I'm going to share with you guys what we're thankful for, and maybe hopefully give you some inspiration into what you can find good in this situation as well. And then be sure to stick around at the end because I'm going to be tagging 5 YouTube channels that I also want to challenge to make the same type of video and share their things that they found that were good. So let's get going. The first thing is silly and simple, but has been by far my kids' favorite thing about being in quarantine, being in the stay-at-home order, is school lunches. So we are headed to pick up school lunches, which is some of my kids' favorite thing about the coronavirus, is that they get school lunches. And you guys love the lunches, right? Yeah! We were invited to participate in our community school lunch program, and it has been a huge blessing, especially during this time when it's hard to find our off-brand options that we usually do to be more budget conscious, or when we can't shop at Aldi's as much because of how many limitations they have on the amount of items that you can get. For a big family, that becomes really hard. And so we've had to buy things that are a little bit more expensive, and that's been harder on the grocery budget. So it's been a huge blessing to be able to go and get school lunches twice a week. And that is our only outing. That's the only outing that we have taken outside of just playing outside that we have done in 6-7 weeks now. But it has been a huge treat. My kids love getting to drink out of milk cartons. It has been a blessing to me because of the budget, but also it's made it easier not to have to make decisions with meal stuff so often. All I have to focus on is what's for dinner and not have to worry about breakfast and lunches, at least during the work week, which is nice. It also has been good in having my kids try new foods. That has really been something fun for them to get to try different veggies that maybe I don't normally buy, or things like that. So definitely a blessing there. Simple, small, but so good. And it's something the kids can look forward to. Another blessing has been getting to get to know our neighbors more. Guys, I encourage you, if you haven't had the opportunity to get to know your neighbors, this is the time to do so. Because for the most part, we're home, right? Yes, there's some that still have to go to work, but there's still this overwhelming sense of being home. And we're also bonding because we're going through a trial and a struggle together as a country. And so what a blessing to be able to come alongside our neighbors. If you don't already know your neighbors, I would encourage you to reach out. You can do this simply by leaving a note on your neighbor's door, just letting them know that you're here for them, leaving your phone number in case they have an emergency, or if they need prayer or just to talk on the phone. Doing something as simple as that can be a huge blessing and a way to open the door. Yes, maybe you don't get to have that interaction right now with them, but as you continue on, after this is all over and said and done, that'll be something that they remember, an opportunity to minister to your neighbors. Along those lines, one of the reasons why we've gotten to get to know our neighbors is because we're spending so much more time outside. We have gotten to do more walks, more bike rides. My kids are spending time finding ways to entertain themselves outside that they normally wouldn't do. But I found them becoming more creative. We've started enjoying nature journaling with the kids, and they've also just started to get more curious about the things around them and get more creative, whether it's digging for worms and roly-polies or playing pretend, climbing trees, whatever it is. They're having so much fun outside, and we've been able to do more of that with them because we're not as busy all the time either. The fourth thing is, this whole experience has allowed us to find ways to connect with other people outside of our home. That might sound like kind of a duh, but the cool thing about that is that in an effort to find ways to connect with our friends that we may not be able to see at church or at co-op or things like that, we're actually finding ways that we can connect after this is all said and done with those who live far away. We have grandparents and cousins and aunts and uncles and friends who live long distance that, other than Facebook, maybe we don't have a lot of interaction with them, but we want to. And by using these tools that we're using right now, we've been able to not only connect with them during this time, but we'll be able to continue to connect with them throughout that. Some of the ways we've been doing that is by playing games on video chat, which I just did a video on. If you guys want to check it out, I'll drop it up above and down below. But we have been playing games over video chat, and it's been so fun to have weekly game nights with friends and family, and something we hope to continue with our long distance friends and family after all this is said and done. Another huge tool that has been helpful is the Marco Polo app. If you guys have not heard of it, it's completely free. It is video chat, but unlike something like Snapchat and things like that, it doesn't disappear after a time. You can watch it whenever you have time. You can respond whenever you have time. And when I first heard of it, I honestly wasn't sure what the need was for it. But as I've used it more and more and more, it has become such a fun way to connect with those who are away from us. And my kids have also enjoyed using it with their friends. They've actually been able to connect a lot with friends their age with it. Just the moms have it on their phones, and we'll let the kids borrow our phones, and they'll show each other their Lego creations or this cool trick that they learned outside. And it's been a great way for them to chat in short chunks, and then they can respond back whenever they want. I'm really thankful for Marco Polo. Number 5 has been that we've just taken this opportunity to say yes more to our kids. Not yes in everything, but because life has slowed down for us, we've just stopped being so busy that we're always saying no. That no had kind of, I don't know, we had gotten into a rut where it had just sort of become our normal. Like before I even thought about the question, it was just, no, not right now. Sorry, not right now. And I've started going, wait, why not right now? We've got nowhere to go. Yeah, we've got this activity, but we could also do it tomorrow because we're going to be home tomorrow too. And so obviously there are times and places where we can't do everything they want us to do, but we have played so many more board games and just gone outside to draw with chalk. And my kids even offered the other day to cook dinner for us. And so we let them kind of have free reign in the kitchen. It was all safe and everything, but we let them have free reign in the kitchen and let them surprise us with dinner. And it was messy and it was less than perfect, but it was such an awesome memory and a bonding experience for them to work together, and a sweet moment for us. And I just think that if we had said no, we would have missed out on that. And I think we just have to be willing to say yes more often in this time and take that into the future. We may not be able to say yes all the time, but make it count when we do and be fully present when we are able to. The last thing that I will say that has been so good for our family has really been being able to find new ways to grow in the Word and grow my relationship with Christ with the help of others. And this has been really, really neat. Yes, it's a hard time. Church is online. Not everybody I know has Sunday school and Bible study. Thankfully, we do still via online conferencing, but it's not the same as being in person with one another and being in the Word with one another the same. But it has been very, very sweet to be able to connect with others in ways that we wouldn't normally do so. So we've been using that Marco Polo app a couple of different ways to help us do that. And one is by talking to different friends daily and just being like, hey, what have you been reading in your devotions today? Share with me what you've been learning, and being able to share back and forth what God is showing us during this time. That's such an encouragement and been such a sweet time for us. Another thing that I've done on Marco Polo is I have a friend who we have been going through a devotional together, and we read a short devotional each, and it has some questions at the end. And then when we have time, not at a set time each day, we just shoot a message. It might be first thing in the morning or last thing before we go to bed, and we shoot a message and say, hey, I read the reading for today, and I was just thinking about the answer to this question. What do you think? And we can kind of have these spurring one another on opportunities with this app. The third way we've used this app for growing in our relationship with God and with each other is my sister actually had a great idea to use it. You can create groups within these, do group chats, and she created a group just for scripture memory. And so it's me and my two sisters and my grandmother, and we are working through different scriptures to memorize. And the way that we do this is we have a scripture, and everyone logs onto Marco Polo every single day and sends a message of how much they've memorized. That could be just the reference, it could be the first sentence, it could be the whole thing. However much you have, you share that much. And everybody does that every single day until every single person in the group has the whole thing perfectly. It allows you to be able to meditate and really chew on the meaning, and to be able to actually memorize it and have it down enough that when you memorize another verse, you're not just gonna lose this one. And it's been such a sweet time. And I've actually been spending more time focusing on Bible memory during this time. So those are just a few of the ways that we have been able to really benefit from this time, and things that I hope that we can continue on after all of this is said and done. Now, I would love to hear from 5 channels in particular on what they find to be a huge blessing. And the first is Kate at Silent Musings on a Noisy Life. You guys should definitely check out her channel. I'll include all of these channels down below in the description, but I want to hear from her. I would love to hear from Ryan at Mama on a Mission, from Yasmin on Mommy on the Move, from Laura at This Motherhood Journey, and finally Christina at Homeschool and Grace. So I would love to hear from you guys. Be sure to check out their links down below, and I'm excited to see what they have to say. If you guys like videos on homeschooling, home management, parenting, and everything in between, be sure to subscribe to this channel and click the little bell notification to be notified when new videos come out. And also, please drop down in the comments what you have found good in this situation. I do really recommend, after going through this process and realizing how helpful it's been for my attitude and my overall perspective on the situation, I think I'm going to start writing down those things that have been good and posting them in my house so that I can see it, putting it on my fridge or something like that. So on those rough days when I'm having trouble just finding the good, I can see those things and be reminded of how God is using this for good in this situation right now. I hope you guys have a blessed time, and we will see you guys on Saturday. Bye.